Welcome to the 28th episode of Reflecting on Divinity. This episode is not an easy listen, but it is a necessary one. We are stepping beyond comfort today into the territory of deep truth, distortion, and the war that has been waged against what is. If your spirit is ready, the remembering begins now. This is not a theory. This is not a metaphor. This is the truth of what has happened and what is still happening. There has been a long, deliberate war on truth. Not truth as an opinion, not truth as perspective, but the kind of truth that cannot be rewritten. The truth of what is. That we are divine, that we are creators, that we are not separate from the source, but extensions of it. And that truth has been under attack for thousands of years. There are those both seen and unseen who have spent generations crafting a version of life that is completely out of sync with what is real. Systems were built to confuse you. Religion was weaponized to disconnect you from your inner knowing. Education was designed not to awaken, but to condition. Language was twisted, so darkness became feared and the source within you became suspect. Ancestral practices were outlawed. Sacred knowledge was mocked. And we were taught to kneel before images that looked nothing like us, while being punished for speaking to the divine in our own voice. The plot has always been to divert humanity from itself. Because if you forget who you are, you become programmable. If you fear the divine instead of knowing it, you become obedient. If you see the world as random, broken, and outside of your control, you stop creating, you start surviving, and you become manageable. That is the plot. To derail the human from their divinity and replace it with dependence, confusion, division, and doubt. But let's tell the full truth, because we cannot speak of manipulation without also speaking of participation. The war is not only out there, it is in here. In the part of us that clings to comfort instead of growth. In the part of us that scrolls for distraction instead of sitting in silence. In the part of us that avoids our shadow and defends our chains. The most dangerous part of this war is that we were trained to carry it out on ourselves. Through shame, through ego, through silence. We were programmed to protect the very systems that keep us bound. So before we blame them entirely, let us ask, where have I been helping the enemy do their job? We are living in a system of inversion. Lies are called facts. Facts are called dangerous. Mass death is called progress. Conscious people are called crazy. And those who remember are told to be quiet, or worse, told that they are being too extreme. The world was designed to normalize distortion. But truth was never lost. It was buried under noise, under shame, under convenience. And now it is rising. We are at the turning point. You were not born to fear God. You were not born to chase validation. You were born with a sacred map, a spiritual GPS encoded into your being. You were born with the ability to heal, to remember, to co-create. And no system, no doctrine, no government, no priest, no algorithm can override that, unless you let it. So let's be honest, this is not overnight work. This is not the work of one generation, but the stage must be set. We have to name what went wrong. We have to stop pretending that ignorance is peace. And we have to say, with clarity, the war on truth ends with me. That is how the reversal begins. This is not about being perfect. This is about being willing. The moment you begin to question what you were taught to accept, the moment you start noticing what doesn't sit right, the moment you turn inward for answers instead of always looking out, that's the moment you become a threat to the illusion. That's the moment you stop being a pawn and become a participant in the restoration. We may not end the war in our lifetime, but we can end the silence. Let this episode be a declaration. The truth is alive. The remembering has begun. And I choose to stand in it fully. I am Ifarounke Derail Prescott, and this is the work I came here to do.